If you're gonna dominate in Warzone, you're gonna need the right settings. So I put together this comprehensive guide to the best controller settings as well as the best graphics settings for the highest visual fidelity. Diving in, I do want to be clear, every single setting in this video is built out for controller players. And while I don't play on mouse and keyboard anymore, I learned a lot of this while playing mouse and keyboard because I learned the differences between the two. And so that's how I came to the conclusion that I have here. But with controllers, I need to be clear, every setting matters. Every single setting matters, including your graphics settings, believe it or not. It's super crazy. I promise it's gonna make a difference. But either way, let's go ahead and dive in. The first thing we're gonna take a look at, of course, are your controller settings themselves. If you wanna start, you go ahead and press pause, go over to the settings tab. You can click quick settings, or you can click on controller, graphics, audio, stuff like that. Off rip though, we are in the controller tab. As you can see, my horizontal stick sensitivity and my vertical stick sensitivity are a little different. The first thing I will say is that if you're trying to get a proper stick sensitivity, then you need to start low. A lot of people think, I gotta be able to turn, Papa. How am I gonna turn? How am I gonna get to them? Trust me, we're gonna explain that in a little bit. It's gonna make a big difference in your gameplay. Rest assured, trust me on this. Whenever it comes to horizontal stick sensitivity, the reason that I go higher and the vertical I go lower is because Warzone itself is on a horizontal plane more than it is on a vertical plane. So you're gonna be looking left to right more than you are up to down. So if you need to move faster, it's most likely going to be left to right. Up to down, you're not really gonna have to go like that too often. So it's gonna be easier to hit those center chest shots or those headshots if you aren't aiming vertically really fast. So what I do is I set mine to what would usually be a 7 and a 5, which is a 1.6 and a 1.3. It's a little early in the morning, still trying to clear my throat. We've got coffee right here. I'm doing my best, man. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Either way, moving forward on this one, the next thing I would go ahead and check off here is your controller vibration. Now, obviously you can copy however I have it, but I'm going to explain to you how everything works. So if you have controller vibration, in my case, it won't affect me whatsoever because I'm using the Expel aim controller, which we're going to talk about in a little bit because it makes a big difference in your gameplay. But for me, I would always turn off controller vibration. When you have your controller vibrating, you know, you're sitting here and your hands are shaking, knees weak, arms are heavy, vomit on his sweater already. Mom spaghetti. When you're sitting there shaking like that, it's hard to aim properly because your whole hand's going to be shaking. So you don't want that in any capacity. You do not want that. What I would recommend to everyone, if you're trying to be accurate, is to turn off controller vibration. Get rid of it. You don't need it. And trigger effect, specifically, I know for PS5 controllers, is going to be that haptic feedback. So on PS5 controllers, there's this thing where when you pull the trigger, it's going to feel like an actual gun. You're gonna like go down a little bit and then you're gonna have to squeeze harder to pull the trigger. You don't want that in any capacity. In fact, some people even use mouse click triggers. Like I said, you can snap that on this and then all of a sudden I have mouse click triggers on my controller. And again, we'll get to why these things make a difference in a minute. But trigger effect, another one of those things similar to controller vibration, you just don't want it. As for Deadzone inputs, for the sake of argument, let's go ahead and set everything to its default, which actually, by the way, they set it to 15. For the love of God, don't do that. Everybody do the exact same thing as me here. Take your left stick minimum, set it to 0. Right stick minimum, set it to 0. Left stick max, set it to 100. Right stick max, set it to 100. And we're going to run through this, and I'm going to explain basically how it works and how it's going to affect you. As for your right trigger and left trigger, please, for the love of God, set those both to 0. You don't need to change those. Left stick minimum. Okay, so whenever someone talks to you about stick drift, this is exactly what they're talking about. If I'm to go and I test the Deadzone, you'll notice at that right side, there's a little baby jiggle. In fact, I think they should both jiggle if I whack them hard enough. I'm trying to do it. Yeah. Okay, so they've both got a jiggle, and you can see the left stick horizontal is 0%. The vertical on the left stick is -2. The right stick horizontal is 1%, and the vertical is -4. That, in and of itself, is stick drift. That is exactly what it is. That's why sometimes your character will randomly look up into the right, up into the left. Sometimes your character will slowly crawl whenever you don't want to. I would say The only thing you need to worry about is that left stick sensitivity, okay? So let's go ahead and turn off that dead zone. We know that left stick was maxing out at 2. So we're gonna turn that left stick up to 2. We're gonna test again. It looks like it's still going a little bit on that vertical, about a 1. So we're gonna go up one more, test it again. And all of a sudden, nowhere across the board are we getting any stick drift. So we can set our left stick minimum to 3. Our right stick minimum. Now again, this is where having a pro controller is going to come in handy. I would not recommend you change this at all. Whenever it comes to getting maximum aim assist, it is very vital that you do not change your right stick minimum. A lot of people are going to want to do this, but if you want max aim assist, you're going to need a pro controller. I'm going to just take the opportunity real quick. Hold on. Let's just talk. Let's get it out of the way. Look, I've got my own Expel pro controller. Okay. We've got this. We've got an Xbox one. I've yet to like slam some caps on it yet so that I can play with it. But we got 2 things, okay? Let me explain to you how these work and why they make such a difference. Now, you might be thinking, Expel is an app. Yes, of course it is. But the reason that I use these controllers is because it makes me a better player. And if you want to become a better player, you're going to need some kind of pro controller. If you don't want to use aim, I'm not going to be bothered. That's absolutely fine. But if you do, go to expel.gg, check out the controllers that I have there. Of course, PlayStation, Xbox, both available. So I use a PlayStation controller, but on the back, you see I've got these little paddles, right? So I use this, which is my bottom right, as X, which is going to be jump. I use this, my bottom left, as slide or crouch or whatever stance change you want to call it. So that means whenever I'm aiming, I'm using this right analog stick. If I want to jump, I use this finger to jump, and then I can keep my thumb on it. So I'm pressing this with my right thumb on the analog stick, and I do the exact same for slide. Right thumb still on the analog stick. So that's going to allow me, no matter what my movement is, to make sure that I'm aiming at my target at all times. So if you don't have a controller with some kind of extra buttons or back paddles on it that you can map to whatever button you want, you are missing out on opportunities to eliminate your enemies. So this makes a massive difference for pretty much anybody. Not to mention, here comes the ad part. These controllers are super sick. The Expel Pro controller, you can get different caps. Look, I just popped off the top for that. And if I want, I can take this one right here. It's a little bit higher. I can pop that on. And all of a sudden, this one's higher than that one so that I can have more accurate aim. Not only that, triggers go all the way down. And then I got mouse click triggers. It's freaking sick, dude. They're really, really cool. I highly recommend you go check it out. Go to expel.gg if you want to check it out. Either way, we're going to keep going. Just keep that in mind as we go, because I'm kind of going to build the rest of the video out around the idea that you yourself have a pro controller or something with back paddles or back buttons. That is how I'm going to do it, because that's what's going to make sense for most people playing this game. Now, back to the Deadzone inputs. Let me explain why I don't recommend you change your right stick minimum. Sure, at some point, you are going to start slowly moving around. But if you, at all times, have your right thumb on that aiming stick, you will have no ability to move around, right? Because you're going to always have physical control over your aiming. So if you change this right stick minimum, all it's going to do is make you less accurate. It's going to take more to get your aim assist to kick in. And by the way, later today on the main channel, I am going to have a video discussing aim assist specifically, how it works, the basics. That way you can improve and play like a pro player. But as for the right stick minimum, keep it at 0. Right stick max, keep that at 100. And left stick max, by the way, right stick max is the amount that it'll hit on your thumbstick to where you're going the fastest speed you can, right? And the same thing for minimum, the smallest amount that you can move your thumbstick to where it'll pick up and register that you're turning. So that's kind of how those work. Same for left stick, how much or how fast it'll move, how fast it'll max out that movement. So because left stick maximum is for how fast you want to max out your movement, what I like to do is actually set that number way lower. That way I get to max speed as fast as physically possible. So I'm going to set that right there to 70. So we've got 3, 70, 0, 100. If you have Hall effects, these are things that don't get stick drift, and you can get them from the AIM website. There's a massive discount going on. If you use code Expel, you can get whatever you want on a custom built controller And if you use code Expel, it will knock that price down to $209. You can get a $400 controller for $200. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So Hall effects are included in that. Smart triggers, smart bumpers, everything are included. Highly recommend you check it out. Use code Expel, again, for massive discounts over there. But whenever it comes to this right here, you want to make sure that you have these set correctly. With Hall effects, you won't necessarily get stick drift, but if you do have stick drift, figure out what that number is, make it stop, don't overshoot it. If you overshoot it, you're going to mess it up. With the left trigger, right trigger, again, I would just go ahead and set this to 0. If you really want to activate it faster, I would once again recommend getting a Pro controller with some kind of mouse click triggers. That is what I would recommend to you, or active triggers is what they're called on the AIM website. Now, we're going to move on to the next thing. Woo! Yeah, finally. All right, moving into aiming. A lot of people are going to tell you to use this sensitivity multiplier for your ADS sensitivity. Do not do that. No, stop it. Stop it. I don't know who told you to do that, but you don't want every ADS sensitivity to be the exact same. In fact, we're going to get to that in a minute. So don't stress about this. Leave all of these set to 1. That's just the best way, in my personal opinion. Make sure, for the love of God, that you have target aim assist and ADS aim assist turned on. If you do not, you will not get aim assist. It's that simple. Please just understand that. We're not going to touch motion sensor behavior or motion sensor advanced settings, but we are going to go up to aiming advanced settings, which is where things actually get quite a bit interesting. So off rip, what we're going to change is your ADS sensitivity timing. This is going to be set to gradual by default. I want you to change it to instant. This is just going to make it snappier for you. I promise you'll get used to it if you change your aim response curve type to dynamic. So you want to make sure that this is set to 100. It should be, but set your aim response curve type to dynamic, because if you do not, I'm going to basically explain it to you. Standard is basically for beginner players that have no idea what they're doing with their sensitivity. If you're trying to learn your sensitivity, set it to standard, right? That's cool. Linear is if you are outrageously good at aiming already. I'm good at aiming. I'm not a pro player. I'm not going to use linear. Even very few pro players are going to use linear because it's a little more complicated than you think. What I like to do is use dynamic. It's basically like an S shape. So it'll do something like that when you're aiming, which means that it'll be slower at the beginning and slower at the end when you start to turn your aim, which is going to just help to make you more accurate. And finally, moving into that ADS sensitivity, which is your custom sensitivity per zoom, this is where things get kind of fun. And this is actually my favorite setting to tune. And it's what you'll see me randomly tuning whenever I'm playing if I feel something's off. Usually it'll end up being with higher sensitivity scopes because some of them feel a little bit different. But let's go ahead and take, for what am I saying? Let's go ahead and take, for example, the low zoom sensitivity. I just slammed words together there for a second. So your ADS multiplier for the low zoom, I like to set that to about 80% of whatever my main sensitivity is. So I've got a 1.6. This is going to knock that down to about 80% of that 1.6. So it's going to slow me down a little bit whenever I ADS, but whenever I'm turning, I'm still going to be able to slam back and forth as fast as I need to, which is what I love about tuning your specific sensitivities. So that low zoom up to 2.3 or up to 2 to 3, maybe even 4 to 5. But what I like to do is gradually move this up. And the reason why is as you slowly but surely aim down at your target and track at further distances, they're probably going to move a lot faster than you can. So what you need is a high zoom sensitivity that's going to be able to track faster, right? That's kind of the best way to explain it. So what I like to do is gradually increase it. For 4 to 5, technically, 0.85 is pretty good. You could also move this up to a 0.9. But I like to go 0.8, 0.8, 0.85, 1.15 for the 6 to 7, maybe even like a 1.10, lower that a little bit. But 8 to 9, absolutely 1.15, and high zoom 1.15, maybe even 1.2 or 1.25 if you feel like you need to zoom faster and like move faster in those scenarios. So luckily that's all the sensitivity settings, which works out perfect. Now moving into movement. Here we go, baby. Here we go. This is where stuff gets fun. So right here we have sprint assist, which, hello? Are we good? All right, right here we have sprint assist. And you want to set this up, unless you're using a shotgun, you want to set this up to tactical sprint assist. You're going to start with it off. This is the one setting that is going to make your life so much better, by the way, just infinitely better. I don't know why this isn't a default setting. It actually like kind of pisses me off, but your sprint assist is going to naturally be set to off. You don't want that. Set that to tactical sprint assist. This is going to get you moving around like all the streamers that you're seeing, okay? And then set the sprint assist delay, which is how long it'll take for that to activate. Set that to 0. Sprint assist sideways on, sprint assist backwards on as well. So that's going to make it to where you get that full 360-degree omni movement so that you can slip and slide around like an absolute freaky deaky boy, okay? Now we do have mantle assist up next. Keep that off. Crouch assist, turn that off. This is for people that literally have no thumbs. I swear to you, I can only imagine that this is for people that play with their fingers like this. Like that is, I don't know who they made this for. It's insane. It's literally insane. But corner slice is a little interesting. Basically, what this is it's like when you're coming around a corner and your character will kind of bob their head sideways. I don't like it. I think it's kind of annoying because it actually kind of changes the angle of your gun when you do that, which makes it to where you can't see the same things that you're used to seeing. So I would recommend turning that off personally. The next thing is basically dependent upon your ability and your dexterity whenever it comes to your controller. So I would personally recommend setting this to hybrid. I've recently learned hybrid. I think it has made me 10 times the player that I was before whenever I was playing on a different setting. If you do not have the physical ability to learn hybrid, do not use diving at all. If you can't do hybrid, which is basically what you'll do is you will press, and I don't know if this is going to be possible to see, but you'll press this button and your slide button at the same time to dive. You'll tap those at the same time and you'll dive. That is what hybrid is. If you can't learn that, or you keep finding yourself diving because you haven't spent the time to learn it, what I would recommend is set it to slide only. That is the best thing that you can do. Do not do tap to slide. Do not do tap to dive. Do not do dive only. Those three, you will die. Do not do that. Don't do it. Automatic airborne mantle. Turn that off. You don't need it. A lot of people do partial. I don't think it's great. Sprint restore. Make sure that's on. That's just going to make you go faster. Slide maintain sprint. Also going to make you go faster. Make sure that's set to on. Parachute automatic behavior. If you have this on, stop playing Call of Duty. Just give it up. It's not the game for you. No, it's not for you. Go ahead and turn that off. Mantle cancels reload. I have this set to on. I didn't even know that you could set that to off. Does not activate while reloading. Oh, it's for mantle assist. Doesn't even matter. Do whatever you want for that setting. It's already turned off on the other one. I don't know why it doesn't black that setting out. So we have vehicle advanced settings and movement advanced settings. Let's go ahead and dive into that. So movement advanced settings. These puppies are fun, okay? Because every single person that you watch online will get these wrong because they misunderstand exactly what the words say on the screen. Plus, to be fair, Activision phrased it incredibly poorly. That's, the usual. So we've got sprint and tactical sprint behavior. Set that to toggle. You don't want that set to hold. That's a pain in the ass. Auto move forward. Do not set that to on, you freak. You're going to mess yourself up like a billion times over. Set it to off. Auto door peek. That is literally, if you get near a door while you're aimed down sight, it's going to open the door for you. Bad idea. You're just giving yourself away. Grounded mantle. Now this one is a little bit weird, but here's how I can explain it to you. If you enjoy going through windows during gunfights to evade your enemies, turn that to on. If you have never in your life ever had a window that you have to cross through during a gunfight, keep it off. It's all good. On if you cross through windows, off if you don't go through windows. Now I will note grounded mantle. In fact, I'm going to read it to you. It says climb nearby obstacles while on the ground using the jump button. Turning it off will let you jump and not mantle when you are close to an edge that can be mantled. The only issue is that sometimes you are going to auto mantle to the other side. And frankly, that may kill you. But would you rather not be able to make it through a window, or would you rather sometimes mantle and have to jump back? I don't know. It's one of those things. It's divisive to say the least, but maybe they fix it in Verdansk. So I would set this to on personally because I'm the kind of person where I'll pull out my knife, try and evade an enemy to reset a gunfight. So in that case, I would recommend you set it to on. This is going to help you jump through windows 100% of the time. 100% of the time. Set that to on. Tactical sprint activation. Highly recommend you set that to single tap run. Don't misunderstand. People think you're supposed to have it on single tap sprint. This is like, oh, I want to go really fast by just tapping it one time. Nope. Nope. Single tap sprint is just regular sprint. Single tap run is from you just regularly walking, like kind of just pushing forward on your analog stick. You'll go into a tack sprint, which is what you should set it to. So again, set that to single tap run. Plunging underwater, set that to free. Sprinting door bash, make sure that's set to on. I don't know why it's favorited, but it's there. Vehicle advanced keybinds, entirely up to you. I would recommend these settings specifically. I think it'll make a difference in you jumping out of a vehicle and being able to aim at your enemies. So driver control, short delay. What? Turn that off. Jesus, what are we doing there? How did that even get? Call of Duty, I swear, I wouldn't have set it to that. I don't want my vehicle camera to recenter. What the hell, dog? Camera initial position. So basically, when you hop into a vehicle, you want it to look a specific way. Let's say you're looking at a guy in a gunfight. He's on this side of the vehicle, right here. You're on this side of the vehicle. You are going to jump in. You're going to swap seats, and then you're going to shoot him. So you want that set to free look so that you're always looking at this guy. That is an insane play that most people are not going to try for. But when you do, and you pull it off, you're going to thank me. Lean out activation. This one's kind of up to you. I almost want it to be the ADS button, but the issue is, like, I think that's the slowdown button. So I don't know how that works, but maybe it would only... Oh, wait. It says literally this action is only available as a passenger. Up to you. And moving over to combat, this is an interesting tab as well. So aim down sight behavior, go ahead and set that to hold. Tactical stance behavior on toggle, ADS plus down button, ADS plus melee, dedicated melee activation. You are not going to memorize your weapons well enough to set this to weapon cycle. If you do, wow, that's incredible, truly. Set it to hold melee. You're going to have some issues with it. It's the best option. This one's up to you. I set it to prioritize body shield because I've been to those parties. No, I'm just kidding. Everybody calm down. Armor, plate behavior, set that to apply all. C4 detonation, you want to go ahead and set that to 1 by 1. If you toss a C4, you want to be able to press that button again and blow it up, because otherwise you got to toss both your C4s, which is a pain in the ass. Equipment behavior, of course, it should be set to hold. Manual fire, set it to press. If this is set to hold, then it is going to fire much slower and you physically cannot make it tap fire faster. So set that to press. Combat advanced settings. I don't know what all I've changed here, but I would say weapon mount exit, set that to short delay. If you have that set to off and you have any kind of, what is it called? Stick drift? That's what it is. If you have any kind of stick drift, it'll just constantly knock you off of a weapon mount. So you don't want that. Interact and reload behavior. This is going to change your game. Okay. This right here, big setting, big setting. It's a big setting. Sorry. That was terrible. So prioritize interact. If you're playing multiplayer, do prioritize reload. If you're playing Warzone, set it to prioritize interact. And the reason why is because you're going to be picking things up off the ground way more often than you are reloading. I know that sounds goofy, but in multiplayer, you reload a whole crap ton, but you're not constantly reloading in Warzone. So if you have it set to prioritize reload, when you're trying to pick something up off the ground, you're going to be tapping that button and it's going to mess up. And you're like, what the hell? What are we doing? So also, it doesn't even work. So don't do prioritize reload, because it also will just randomly pick up stuff off the ground. It doesn't even work. I've tried it. It doesn't work. I don't know why it's broken, but it's broken. So just do prioritize interact at all times if you can. Memorize to press and hold the square button to reload. Technically, yes, that is tap to interact, right? Because you hold the reload at all times. But prioritize interact, I feel like just makes it, I don't know, smoother or something. It just feels better. Sprint cancels reload. Turn that off. No idea why this is broken, but it's broken. Akimbo behavior, I have that set to independent, but if you don't want to do that, you can set it to paired. It just feels like paired is wrong. I don't know what it is. It just, something about it feels a little off. ADS stick swap should be set to off. I don't know why this is, Oh, it's not. I keep thinking these are on my quick settings. Turns out they're not. Depleted ammo weapon switch. Make sure that's set to on. Moving down, overlay settings. Yeah, this should all be set the exact same way that I have it. And scoreboard, make sure this is set to toggle, not hold. Now we get into some fun things. We're moving into graphics. I'm not going to take forever on these graphics. I'm going to run you through it. I'm going to kind of explain a few things, but most of it, you can kind of just copy what I have. And if you are on PlayStation 5 or you are on Xbox, there are settings here that do matter to you. However, there will be a crap load of settings that don't exist. It just follow me to the best of your ability. If you don't have the setting, skip to the next one. Skip to the next one. I don't care. Trust me, it does matter that you get these correct in whatever capacity that you can. I apologize for the confusion that Activision has placed on console players. Nothing I can do about that. So, moving in, you want to make sure your screen refresh rate is as high as it'll possibly go. Your display adapter obviously should be your graphics card. Your display monitor should be the monitor that you're playing on. And then moving down, I personally prefer the sRGB, the 2.2. If you're playing on a TV, I think some people prefer the BT 1886, but I do sRGB. Your brightness is dark, dog. Set it to 60. Just do it. I know it sucks. I don't want it to look bad, but you have no option at this. Set it to 60. Set your brightness to 60 at a minimum. Swear to God, sometimes I almost recommend bring that puppy up further. You almost want to do that. You almost want to do 80. If you're a freak and you're down with it, run it to 80, because 80 is when you're going to be able to actually see people in the dark shadows. I'm dead ass. I hate Call of Duty. I'm going to set mine to 60, which sucks, but we're going to run it, and that's what we're going to do. I set my NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency. I set that to on plus boost. Most people, you're probably just going to run it with on, but I'm just letting you know. Eco, make sure that is set to custom. VSync, set that to off no matter what. VSync menu, set that to off no matter what. Custom frame rate. So to explain this one, I have my gameplay custom frame rate set to 165. If you remember, my screen refresh rate was 160. What I like to do is I like to max out my frames about 5 frames above that screen refresh rate, which means I'm not wasting frames on my graphics card that I cannot see or that will not make a difference in my gameplay. It just overuses your graphics card. You don't need it. You don't even need the electric bill, to be quite honest. That's kind of the big thing. You don't want to run up that electric bill, dog. We're all going broke. It's 2025, baby. Anyway, and moving on. Menu and out of focus frame rate really don't matter. Set it to whatever you want. Reduce menu render resolution. Set that to optimal. You can also set it to native, but that's weird. What? Sorry, set it to maximal, not native. I'm dumb as hell. Reduce quality when inactive. I set mine to 10 minutes, completely up to you. Do not under any circumstances set this to 100. When I booted up Call of Duty, focus mode was set to 90. They set it to 90. I don't even think I can explain to you what that does. Oh, here, I'm going to show you. Actually, can I show you? Look, it should show up on this screen. You see how dark it is? You can't even see it. You can't see it, but I can see it. So it basically darkens the other screens that you have connected to your PC. HDR, man, that's up to you. I turned it off. I think it looked like crap. Quality, moving into quality. I set this to custom, of course. The first and only thing that you really need to worry about, I know this is crazy. Realistically, this is going to make the biggest difference in everything that you do. Everything else does matter, to be clear, but this right here, even for PlayStation or Xbox users, this is going to make the biggest difference for you. Set your upscaling and sharpening, which is probably set to like NVIDIA DLSS. Set it to off. Then go up to Fidelity CAS. It's a bug with the system. That's why I set it to off first. So set it to Fidelity CAS, okay? Go down to the Fidelity CAS strength. It is likely to be set around 50. Bump that number up to 100. Gonna make a big difference. DLS frame generation, up to you. I keep that off. I think it's crap. I think you don't want AI to render frames because you're gonna be really not seeing what you should be seeing. Does that make sense? Then FSR frame generation, same thing, just turn it off. VRAM, I don't know, how do we, okay, so with VRAM, if you have a very good graphics card, 70% is fine. If you have, say, I don't know, like a 3070, set that to 85%, right? If you have something that is not that great, you want to scale that VRAM a little bit higher. I would not hit 90, but you want to scale that VRAM target for your graphics card a little bit higher if you have a worse graphics card. If you have a good graphics card, you can scale it a little bit lower. Now, a lot of people are going to tell you that 80 is a sweet spot. I'd agree. I have a 49 in my PC and I'm playing 4K. I set mine to 70. That's the reality of it. Hell, for the sake of it, I'll set it to 80. Just so that I can be on the same page. A lot of people are going to tell you variable rate shading is good. Personally, I don't use it, but you should probably use it in most scenarios. Most people should be using variable rate shading because it's going to help you more than it's going to hurt you. And you're not going to notice the difference. Basically, the areas that you look at on the screen are going to be rendered in high resolution. The areas you don't look at on the screen are going to be rendered at low resolution. I look at every part of the screen all the time because I'm trying to see stuff. So I keep mine set to off. If you suck at Call of Duty, on or off really ain't going to make a difference. You know what I mean? Texture resolution, I set mine to low. I don't know why you'd need it any higher. It just raises your VRAM usage. Texture filter, I don't even know why that. Okay. I'm going to set mine to low, then low. Depth of field, make sure that's turned off. It's going to blur out the things around you, which you absolutely do not. Detail quality, I set mine too high so that I can see things more clearly. Particle resolution, doesn't matter, set it to very low. Bullet impacts, make sure that's set to on. That way you can figure out where a bullet's coming from. Persistent effects, turn that to off. Shader quality, don't know why that's on high, set it to low. On-demand texture streaming, a lot of people are going to tell you this makes a big difference. You can set yours to minimal. Again, I play in 4K, which is why I have mine set to optimized. In your case, I would recommend setting it to minimal. And then when you do set it to minimal, go ahead and set your daily download limit to 1 gig. It might be like way up here. Set it to 1 gig. You don't want to download while you're playing. I keep mine on optimized. Don't worry about that. Local texture streaming quality, you can set yours to low. For me, I'm going to set mine to normal. Shadow quality, very low. You don't need shadows. Trust me, it's never been a thing in competitive gaming where you need shadows. Screen space shadows, off. Occlusion and screen space lighting, off. Screen space reflections, off. Static reflection quality, set it to low. Tessellation, do not set this to all. You will not know what the hell is going on, but you will lose frames. It makes zero difference. Like, if you can notice it, I'm playing in 4K. I cannot notice it, but I do know that I get like a 10 to 15 frame dip whenever I set it to all. If you can notice it, good Lord, you've got 2010 vision. You absolute freak. I love you. Tessellation, set it to near. You do want it on, but you don't want it everywhere. Volumetric quality, I set mine to low. You really don't want the hazy effects. Deferred physics quality, turn that to off. I'm not even going to explain it. Weather grid volumes quality, set it to off. Again, it's kind of like a weather effects being applied to your character, so you don't need the shine on your character. Water quality. Now, wave wetness is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life and is only for people that are playing single player. I swear to God. So wave wetness, basically, if you go to like the edge of like the beach where the water's coming up, right? Imagine you're right here. You're looking down. This right here. Where is it? This right here. This is like, oh, the wave's hitting, right? Right? So when the water hits, there's going to be like a shine right here. Dog, are you really looking? Are you really looking at that shine? No. Do water caustics. This is just going to allow you to see a little bit better underwater. So water caustics, and that's all under the quality tab. I'm going to click apply, by the way. Moving into view. Field of view. Hey, Expel, how do you move so fast? You're so fast. I feel like you're thumbing through there. Yeah. I'm moving the same speed as you, dog. I just have my FOV set to 120. So it looks like I'm moving very fast. The wider your field of view is, the faster it'll look like you're sprinting around. So I personally set it to 120. If you are on controller and you are playing on a TV, a larger TV, set this to 107. If you are playing on a monitor and you are within 3 feet, 3 feet of your monitor, set it to 120 or 115. Those 115 to 120 is going to be your number there. A lot of people don't like it. That's what I do, and I think it makes everything work a little bit better. I can see more. I can aim. I don't know what I'm saying, but it's I like it. Okay. ADS field of view, make sure that's set to effective. For the love of God, if it's independent, you're screwing yourself over. The weapon field of view, you want to set that to wide so that you can see the most around you and you're not just staring at your gun all the time. Third person field of view doesn't matter. You're not playing third person. Vehicle field of view, make sure that is also set to wide so you can see more going on around you. These two settings right here are exactly how you get to not see things around the map at all times. God almighty, I can't believe that they added this in. I don't even understand. So world motion blur and weapon motion blur. When you go to turn, okay, you can see it a little bit under my camera here. You see it moving a little bit. So when you go to turn, imagine that when you turn, stuff gets all fuzzy. Expel, how did you see that guy? When I turned, my screen wasn't fuzzy. So I could see the guy that was off in the bush aiming down his sniper and the glint happened. But if you've got world motion blur on, you ain't gonna see a goddamn thing, my boy. Nothing. Every time you turn, you're not seeing anything. There's nothing there to see. You got to stand completely still to be able to see things in the game. Do not turn this on. Turn it off. I had someone the other day say that they set weapon motion blur to off, or set weapon motion blur to on because it raised their frames because the game didn't have to load in the texture of their gun. Yeah, don't do that. Set it to off. First person and third person camera movement. Now, this is like your screen visually shaking. A lot of people are like talking about how, oh, this person's got perfect recoil control. Set these to 50%. All of a sudden, you've got perfect recoil control. Isn't that crazy? Your screen doesn't shake. Weird how his screen doesn't shake. Set it to 50. Thank you so much. That's going to make your life so much better. My God. Inverted flashbang. I don't know, man. A lot of people like their screen to go black. I feel like it's weird. And once you go black, you know what I'm saying? So moving on to audio. Swear to God, I'm going to do it. Moving into audio. So master game volume, I obviously set this to 100. There's a reason for the fact that I set this to 100. If you set this any lower, you will lose out on audio quality. Stop changing it in your game. Do not. You can change it on your PC if you want. Do the little scrolly wheel. I don't know if it's, I don't think, I'm not on the right computer. Can you even see this if I do this? Hold on. Wait. No, you can't see it. Anyway, you can use a little scrolly wheel on your keyboard to change it on your computer, or you can change it in your PlayStation settings or your Xbox settings. Do not change it in the game. You lose audio quality. Stop it. Stop it. Damn it. Set it to 100, okay? Gameplay music volume. At the end of the game, you're in a 1v1 situation, and Call of Duty's like, dude, let me set the mood. No, I don't. I'm trying to win the game, not rock out at the end of the match. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Call of Duty's like, bro, you're going to love this one. Cut it off. Set it to 0. Dialogue volume. You need to hear people saying enemy UAV, stuff like that. Like that audio popping in is going to make a big difference. Effects volume, same as master volume. Set it to 100. It's going to save your life, I promise. Everybody's like, dang, my audio sucks. Ladies and gentlemen, your headphones suck. Stop buying Astros. Stop buying Turtle Beaches. Go get yourself a studio grade pair of open back headphones. Okay? Look, hey, you see these? See these? Yes, I do have a website that tells you to check out my controller, but on that website, I also have all my recommended gear. Are you losing your mind because audio sucks? Get a better pair of headphones. Go to expel.gg. I do get a kickback from any of the links that you click over there, but for the love of God, it is going to save your life. Stop using these terrible headsets that are built for gamers. I don't know who needs to tell you this. They all suck. Get a pair of earbuds. I don't care, but open back headphones are probably going to do the best for you because it's got a like wide sound floor. So I have my headphones linked over there. If you choose the headphones that are specifically linked over there, you will not need the amp. The amp is because I use 250 ohm headphones. You don't need it. I should have never bought 250 ohm headphones. Okay. I shouldn't have. That's my bad. I was too deep. I refused to return them. That's why I got them. Don't get those. Okay. Go to expel.gg. Get these. They don't have a mic. So if you need a mic, get the other ones that have the attached mic, but get these or the other ones, the EPOS, whatever the hell it is. And it's going to make a big difference in your gameplay. Okay. I promise. Just the difference of being able to hear is so crazy. Either way, cinematic music volume, same exact thing. Why Call of Duty? Stop it. Stop giving me music when I need to fight people. Damn it. Speakers and headphones, set that to whatever, you know, your headphones is. Then speaker output, set it to surround sound. Please do that. Please, I'm begging. Thank you. If this is on, why? This thing sucks. They charge you $20 for this crap and it sucks. Just so you know, okay? Audio mix. I personally prefer Sucker Punch. It's just, ooh, it's tight. Like your grandma. Mono audio. If this is on, quick Call of Duty. Swear to God. So mono audio. I'm not joking. Oh man, Brooke had this on for like 6 months at one point. She had no idea. She's like, I can't tell where people are coming from. Are they coming from the left or the right? Mono audio makes it to where what you hear in your left comes through your right. And what you hear in your right comes through your left. So make sure, I can't, just thinking about poor Brooke playing with mono audio just gives me cracking up. Make sure you have that set to off, because otherwise you don't get any like range for where people are coming from. Where are they? Where are they? You know, moving down, new game, doesn't matter. Okay, so this is a little weird. Asymmetrical hearing compensation actually will kind of lower the sounds of precision airstrikes. So if you're struggling with those sounds, you can cut it on. It does sound a little weird. I don't need it. I don't like it. I don't recommend it. Hear me out. You've been hearing people say, hey, these streamers be changing their audio. Now, you can change your audio in an audio software outside of Call of Duty, or you can literally change your frequencies in the game because they added that in. So if you want to go and look up a video how to do this, I don't know how to do it. I'm going to be honest with you. But what you can do is you can hop in, look up a YouTube video on how to do this stuff, like adjust your frequencies to sound the best so that you can hear footsteps better, and then do that. Because it's going to make a big difference in your gameplay. Stop whining about saying people are cheating because they adjusted that. No game files are used. I don't know who keeps like spreading these lies that these streamers are adjusting the game files so that only footstep sounds are heard. No, they're not. It's great. It's great. Literally every time I hear that, I'm like, damn. These people don't even know at all what they're talking about. They're just spewing out random stuff. Okay. Audio wall hacks, bro. That's crazy. Turn on reduced tinnitus sound. That's going to save you. Hit marker preset. Set it to default, in my personal opinion. Voice chat, entirely up to you for the most part, but let's run through it. Personally, I set mine to 80. I would recommend, if you don't want to get your ears blown out, set that to 50. I change mine outside of the game through my Go XLR, so that's why it's set to 80. Just so that I can record and hear people better. Set yours to 50. Voice chat, obviously on. Proximity chat, up to you. I'd turn it on so that you know when enemies are within 60 meters if they start chatting. Body shield chat. Obviously, I want to hear that guy whining. Last words chat. Obviously, I want to hear them, for some reason, probably dropping slurs. I don't want to talk about it, but that's the reality of what usually happens. Game voice channel. Usually set that to all lobby. Voice chat output device, up to you, whatever yours needs to be. Microphone level, set yours to 100%, ladies and gentlemen. 100%. That is not true. Why is mine set to 100? Check. 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 Jesus. Don't do that. Why is it set to 100? Turn it to like 20. Oh my God. Check. Check. Yeah, that's a lot better. Set it to 20. Okay, 20, maybe 10 if you're too loud. 20 is usually the go-to because for some reason, usually your mic is blaring in Call of Duty. It's like they boost it like 10 times. So, such is life. Obviously, your microphone input device need to be set to what it's set to. Interface. This is where things get a little fun too. So, none of this really matters. I would skip the introduction movie. I would not skip. I can just skip that. I had that set to off this whole time. I would not skip your kill cam. Tool tips, turn that crap off. Gameplay tips, turn that crap off. Menu prompts, set that to automatic. If you set, it's only for the menu, like when you're in, like outside the game. So why would you do that? Set it to automatic. Whatever you got plugged in is going to be what changes. Your readability, go over to color customization. If you're wondering why something's wrong, change this to default. If your color filter is set up, change that to none. Usually some people have issues. It's because their interface element colors are busted. No idea what happened, but there was an update a while back that busted it, and you have to go in and manually change it to default. Mine was all set to white. Everything was white. Everything. Couldn't even see contracts at all at one point. It went like, I think it was right when Black Ops 6 dropped. So that was weird. And I think that's about it. If you want to change your colors and get it going crazy, filter 2, set it to both. That will get your colors like really, really popping. I would not recommend filter 3. That's just weird. But filter 2, if you really want your colors to pop, go color filter, filter 2, set it to both, and then everything's going to look a little bit more intense. But I personally don't do that because I like to do the natural colors, and then I actually just bump saturation. I don't know if you can tell the difference. I just bump saturation with a LUT on my OBS, which is only to recording to you so that it looks better. As a quick heads up, that's all I do. Moving over to gameplay HUD. If you have a minimap shape set to circle, stop it. Don't do that anymore. Set it to square. You get like 40% more real estate. I'm not joking. 40% more real estate to see enemies near you. Minimap rotation. Make sure that's set to on. That way you are constantly looking forward and your minimap is rotating around you. Radar. If there's a guy that commented on my video for a month, I explained this to him 20 times. If your minimap is not actually showing your minimap and only like you and your teammates moving around on it, it's because for some reason you turned on radar. Now, technically, this is something that should exist because it was the little like translucent background on your minimap. It is busted. If you turn it on, you can't see anything because it actually overlays that over the minimap. Why? Set it to off. That is what I recommend. Compass type. Set this to horizontal. Do not set it at your minimap. You do want a compass. Set it to horizontal. That way you can call out where people are. Stamina bar. I have this on. It is negligible, but I have it on. I set it to near my health. If I was you, I'd set it to near your crosshair. And it is going to go at the center of your screen, but I think it'll make a big difference in you being able to learn it and then move it to near your health so that you can kind of get used to having it down there again. So start near your crosshair, move it to near your health. That way you know what your movements are doing. Vehicle HUD prompts, I have mine set to fade. In-game text chat, I have mine set to on. I usually end up changing this in my account settings. Player names, you don't need your teammates' clan tag. So set it to abbreviated. I don't know why you'd need that. Crosshair, I have changed this since the last, this is actually like the 1 to maybe 2 settings I've changed since the last video. Because I tend to fly at people, this is the only time that this helps me, by the way. Because I tend to jump and fly at people, my crosshair will bounce. In fact, I'm going to show you exactly how this works. Let me hop into the firing range. So right here, when I jump, you see how, I don't know, I'm gonna zoom in. Watch how that bounces up and down. That crosshair in the center is bouncing up and down, right? So if I go in and I go to my settings and I change my crosshair and I set it to static, now that crosshair just stays in the center of the screen. So when I'm jumping, it's actually not accurate to where the enemy is. Now, this doesn't make a big difference at all. Unless you are constantly using PRDs and zip lines to land on people, which is frankly how I play, it will not really affect you because what I like to do is try and shoot people while I'm in the sky. So when I'm flying in, I'm trying to pop shots at them so that I have some kind of shots on them instead of just landing on them like an absolute ignoramus. So I now change the setting to on. That way, whenever I'm jumping and landing on people, it's accurate as to where I need to aim. That way I know where I need to aim. Crosshair dot, I have that set to on. That's going to be your center dot. A lot of people set this to largest. Please don't do that. You will miss your enemy's head. You can't see because of the dot. So set it to default. Crosshair spread, set it to on. That's going to allow you to know whenever your weapon is going to recoil more or you're going to hip fire in more random directions. Crosshair opacity, set that to 100 or around 75. Crosshair color, stop changing this to red. Your crosshair naturally changes colors whenever you do certain things. If you change it to red, you will not know when those things are happening. Set it to white. Let it be default, okay? Thank you very much. See? Basic color. Set that to basic color. Cool. Got it. Hit marker visual. Set it to on, of course. Damage-based hit marker. Set it to on. Weapon information, 100%. All these, set them to 100%. You don't need them being lower. There's no reason for it. And ladies and gentlemen, that is every setting. That's all of them. That is every setting that's going to make a difference in your gameplay. I appreciate the hell out of you for watching this video. I know it was a whole thing, but for real though, you should go check out expel.gg. Grab one of these puppies. It's going to make a huge difference in your gameplay. I promise. Being able to aim, jump, slide, and like everything else all at the same time will make a difference. These freaking, these mouse click triggers, incredible. I mean, good Lord, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you have an incredible day. I'll be seeing you in the next one.